gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. William, if you will, baby, Morgan.
How you doing? How y'all doing?
And we got a lot to talk about, but I feel like we got to start it right here. I can see him in my camera. Where's he at? Right here, the new AEW World Champion, Hangman Adam Page. You can shit on all this.
I'm not.
No, not you in particular. The IWC in general. You can shit on this all you want if you want to. But one thing you can't argue. This is one of the best storylines we've seen in wrestling in probably 20 fucking years, bro. It was a good, long draw storyline. When's WWE done a I'll give them one better. Since the Rock Cena. This is the best long drawn out storyline since the Rock Cena. And still, 2 years, man. They just nurtured this feud. It was epic. It was an epic match. I am excited, if you can't tell. I am excited that he won.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to talk about the elephant in the room with this run. And actually, we're going to do it right now with the... So Will brought it up when we were talking about this before the show. And his worry about Hangman is he a paper champion? Is he a placeholder? Is Bryan Danielson... Man, the one thing I hate about the new name is D-Bry just floats. There's no little short. The American drag is also long and wordy.
Facts.
Anyway, Bryan Danielson going to take it off of him in a few weeks' time. As I stopped myself because I wanted, man, my peak hair is looking awesome. You didn't even fuking notice. You're always supposed to notice my boss's hair, bro.
I noticed.
And you didn't tell me to stick it up in the back either.
But that's my concern. That's my concern because you can because a lot of people think that Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, however you want to call him, is the best in the world. A lot of people feel that way. Even today, you know, after he's past his so-called prime, a lot of people still feel he's one of the best. And a legitimate threat to any title. And
I agree with all of those statements and everything you just said.
And and that's my concern with it because you didn't bring him there for nothing.
Yes,
he wants to compete. He wants to win.
I agree with you. This is the two things that really I'm not sure if that happens. One, TK has never done that. He has not yet brought in a guy. The fastest I would say from in to champion was Miro. Yeah. And that was because they were trying to build him as a beast.
Right.
And it worked. They did it well. Yeah. People were talking shit on him in the beginning with the whole him and Kip storyline, and they turned it. And I mean, yeah, he's dominant.
Yep.
So I'm not sure. I think that if I'm Tony Khan, that's always one of the things I'm trying to avoid because it's impact move. That's an impact move. I'm sorry, Impact. I love you, but that's an old school TNA Impact move. My second thing, my rebuttal to this is I told you, I'm not sure which way it goes. My rebuttal to this. Imagine Hangman does lose it. He loses it to Bryan Danielson. But think about the second redemption story you could do from that. The next, he comes back again to win it again, to be the first 2-time. Yeah. I mean, only in wrestling does being a 2-time champion like that mean so much. Right. So he could come back and then win it again and all out.
That's true.
I don't know if that happens. I feel like the 2 years, I realize you got Bryan Danielson in this now, but the 2 years that you've put into the storyline with Hangman, you already pushed it back once because you let the man go see his baby be born. But I not sure you waste a 2-year build on a month-long reign. And personally, I'm not sure Bryan Danielson is coming in to bury talent like that. And I'm sorry, there's no way to really look at that. That's a burial. Like it's a burial. Even if they pull off the redemption storyline, right now, people are going to see it as a burial.
But we've seen it done before in wrestling.
I mean,
you remember when Luger? Do you remember when Luger beat Hogan for that first time for the title, and then 7 days later Hogan won it back? So it's been done before.
One thing though, again, AEW kind of strives for the long draw, the long story. So it's not going to be a quick thing with them. So you're going to hear the paper champion. They just buried Hangman, especially because, and this is another thing. If you put the championship right on him right now, it is going to be seen as a WWE guy holding an AEW title. He's not 6 months out. It's too soon. It's just too soon. I hate y'all give me shit about this all the time, but as an AEW fanboy, I think that would make me mad. Not the fact.
So how long do you think he holds the title?
They've had a lot of long reigns now. I'm not saying Hangman holds it for a year. They've had a lot of long reigns. Like, you figure the company's now just celebrated their 2 years. They've only had 3 champions. This Hangman is now the 4th. And so I think you could give him a really good 6-month reign, but you hold him to the way you do that is he's a fighting champion, constantly putting on the line, constantly winning the right way. And I think it's time for that too. And then you didn't probably watch AEW this past week, but Bryan started making a heel turn. He went back to the American Dragon ROH Bryan, to 2019 Green Bryan. Like,
that's just sick.
Yeah, like he was like low-key insulting Paige and just I'm better than you type shit. Like that's heel Bryan. That's what we know is heel Bryan.
Right.
So I don't think Hangman drops it right away. I think you make him, like I said, a fighting champion. He's defending it at least every other week. Or, like he needs to defend it constantly. Especially in AEW where wins matter. Let him now rack up that win streak. Like, go on a run. Just like Kenny did. That was the thing, Kenny's run that kind of got overshadowed because he was holding so many belts.
Right.
But he was winning constantly. Now, this is the time to do it and do it with Hangman and him constantly winning clean. Constantly winning clean. Constantly winning clean. Constantly winning clean. I think that's another great direction for AEW. And me personally, that's probably the way they'll go with it.
Well, I wouldn't be shocked if Bryan Danielson wins this thing soon, but 6 months, give the guy at least 6 months.
Yeah, I think he beats him here and then takes it in 2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months down the road. Yeah.
Like, this would be a huge win for Hangman. He beat Kenny, beat Bryan Danielson. I would say the next person after that in line is probably the next guy needs to win it needs to be. Personally, I don't know if Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson wins it in 6 months because I feel like personally the next person needs to win it needs to be another AEW guy.
But see, the only thing I challenge you about that, if he wins it, there's so much more you can do with him because of who he is, and B, now you got all this new talent on the roster, so you can take him and just do worlds of good with him, not new worlds of good with them. And if you turn him heel too,
the other issue there is travel starting to open up to Japan. Everybody know Bryan wants to work Japan. Like,
that's true too.
I'm surprised he already hasn't been on Strong working with who he can there.
He made a name for himself over there too.
Yeah, so everybody knows he wants to go back to Japan. So I just don't think I don't know what his contract looks like with AEW. I don't think schedule wise he is going to be able to hold a championship schedule coming soon. Again, we'll see. Yeah. Like we'll see. AEW, it's a lot easier to like kind of guess Raw because in WWE because they do the same shit all the time. I will say AEW keeps you guessing. Like they're really good. They're not. You think you know the direction. You can call matches a good portion of the time, but to call storylines down the road is, and that's what wrestling's been missing. Yeah. So, all right. One last thing before we move on. Have you followed anything about Punk's return, like at all? Like
not really. I've been following more Big E's run. Saw him on the Breakfast Club the other day. Did a good job. Saw his latest
he came across my TikTok at a food place that I watch that makes his amazing hamburgers. Like he got a hamburger this big with Bootios on it. Swear to God.
But he did a terrific job on the Breakfast Club. He holds himself well. He talked very well. I also saw his latest comments on how he wants to open that forbidden door with AEW.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which I thought was interesting.
He's not the first one to say that.
It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. But I'm glad he said it.
He's not the first one to say it, but
I'm glad he said it because it shows that he's willing to take on all comers, so to speak. He's not running away. And I'm glad he said it. He seems to be a solid guy. Seems to be a good dude. And I really like that.
And I hate to put it this way, but you asked it about Hangman, and unfortunately, we all know that a black man holding a main title in the WWE isn't very common.
But here's my issue though. Would you call it wrong if he lost to another brother?
No.
Because I still think Bobby Lashley's in play. I still think he is.
I mean, if it went back to Lashley, it's not that. My thing is how long is he gonna hold it?
Right. History doesn't speak.
Is it gonna be a good run? Kofi's run was kind of lackluster. Like I gotta admit, the build to the run was the greatest part.
But once he got the title,
they just didn't do a lot with him.
Yeah, and then the way he lost it was bullshit.
Yeah, and so I love Big E. I think he is a badass. But there's part of me that has wanted to see Big E Langston for a long, 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 long time. And I'm talking the Big E that was with AJ and Punk.
You going back.
Back. But he was just so brutal and ferocious.
He was.
Like, I love New Day. One of the greatest tag team trios in our generation. They're amazing.
Recent history, yeah.
And they saved those three men's careers. Easily. But I want to see some heel Big E. Give me one good heel run. Yeah. One good heel run. Because even when they were heel New Day, it was still a comedy act. And he wasn't really tearing people apart.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I see your point. Recent history, though. Right now, his title reign has been better than Kofi's.
Oh, yeah. Well, again.
And it doesn't take much, but it's been better than Kofi's. He's got Roman, and he's got other people breathing down his neck. I could see maybe a good year for Big E before he gives it up. At least a year because he's so over. And again, Big E is the type of dude that don't need the championship to be over. He don't need
I agree. It. I mean, he's been over for a long
it's been over for a long time. He don't need a championship. Kofi didn't really need it either to be over.
Kofi, they gave it to Kofi because of what happened in his run up. Kofi would have probably never, ever been a world. Honestly, if Mustafa Ali hadn't gotten hurt.
Yep.
Kofi would have never been champion. He would have never held that title.
You think Mustafa would have held it?
I don't know. I don't know if Vince would have pushed Mustafa like
I don't know either.
Kofi to Vince was he was a tried and true. He'd been there for forever.
Mm-hmm.
He knew him. Mustafa was still a very new product.
Yeah.
Honestly, had he not, I think Vince would have buried him had he not gotten hurt.
Probably so. But I give Big E about a year, and then after that he'll drop it, and then maybe you'll see heel Big E, because I wouldn't mind seeing heel Big E myself, going up against Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar.
Okay, I have not watched any of the Bloodline, any of it, and I know you're not a huge fan of it, but I'm telling you, I am ready to see how they turn Heyman. You know he's gonna go back to Brock.
He is.
You know he is.
Somebody he gonna do Roman dirty. He gonna do him dirty.
It's gonna be something real shady too.
Real shady.
I did. So you brought it to Big E, and congrats, Big E. I hope he has a great run. I really do. Like, I think he deserves it, and I hope he makes a dominant run. But the reason I brought up Punk is it looks like they're finally putting him in a storyline.
Uh-oh.
And it's looking like it is going to be Punk and MJF.
Now, see, you can do wonders with that story.
Dude, I'm telling you, like two people that are just amazing on the mic. Amazing on the mic.
You can do wonders with that.
Between the Pinnacle and like Sean Spears and Wardlow, who are always, and what's going on between Wardlow and MJF already, like there could be so much here. Yep. And they are, who's he facing? Punk has someone in Chicago. Oh, I can't remember. It was a good match too, and I can't remember. But they're back in Chicago this week, and he's fighting.
Okay.
One of the pillars. I can't think of who it is. Maybe it's MJF. I don't think it's MJF.
But you can do a lot with that story.
Yeah, that needs to be drawn out a little bit.
Yeah, you can do a lot with that.
But I gotta say, I was a Punk fan. I hate that he left. There's a lot of people saying that he's not the same, and he's not gonna be. He's been gone for 7 years.
I hated when he left, but not only did I hate it when he left, it was the timing of his leaving that made it so. Because he was at the height of his career at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't say anything less than that. And then all of a sudden he was gone. I mean,
and my issue here with the whole situation of him coming back is people are saying he's just not the same. He's not as good, which, yes, you can tell. He did not prepare. Like, he was unsmart in that. He should have spent 6 months in the ring, taking bumps, getting ready. His debut should have been a lot better. But he's now been back in the ring for almost 3 months. And you can see he's getting better. He's getting back some of those moves. Guys, like, we both have friends that have been in schools, that are wrestlers. We know wrestlers. We talk to wrestlers. It's not an easy job.
And
go.
And with that long layoff he had, it's going to take time for him to come
7
back.
years is a long time to not be taking bumps.
Yeah, man.
And you say, well, he was doing MMA. But it's different. You're in MMA, the training is just sparring and hitting. And you're not trying to learn how to fall because you don't want to fall.
Right. You don't want to fall at all.
But the hardest part of wrestling is the bump. It's the learning how you fall. And when I say bump, if you're new to wrestling, it's flat backing. It is flat backing your back to the ground.
Yep.
And that is the safest way you're going to fall and not hurt something. Which can be proven is people fall off of 20-foot ladders onto other bodies and they're okay.
Yep.
So you need to flat back and hit as much of the surface of your back throughout.
Right.
And if you've ever tried, because most people are wrestling fans, I think all of us have tried to take a bump, and it don't feel great the first couple of times you do it. It don't matter the only surface I'll say it don't affect you is the trampoline.
Yeah,
I've done that.
Yeah.
But on a real ring, which again, guys, a ring is plywood. with a little bit of that carpeting over top.
Yep.
And then a little bit of the ring, whatever, apron over top.
That ain't barbecue sauce.
And the ropes are like wires wrapped in tape, tightened. It don't feel good. The
ain't
ropes
none of that.
Feel good.
Ain't none of that barbecue
landing
sauce.
on the ground don't feel good.
Nope. Ain't none of that barbecue sauce. Tell you that.
And so it takes time for the body to get used to it again, but you can see he's getting back to normal. I'm excited for this because there's actually a picture of MJF as a kid getting a picture, an autograph from Punk back in the day. So this is going to be an interesting feud. I'm really excited to see this because the greatest thing about it is MJF and Punk will write this. Like, they will write this. They'll tell. I mean, Tony says all the time he writes the storylines and stuff. But like those guys, you gotta let those guys go. They they know their characters so well. They know how to do this.
Yeah.
We need to take a break because we've been rambling for already almost 20 minutes.
Yep.
When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more news. Talk about these releases again, bro.
Some more.
I think I heard it's like something like 70 this year, something crazy like that.
Shows how out of touch they are.
We'll be right back. We'll talk about that. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. Oh, yeah. I got some breaking news of this, but before we go to breaking news, I'm beating Will in Real Reality Fantasy Football right now. Don't say a word, Will. Don't say a word. Don't say a word. Don't say a word.
Quit that league.
Don't say a word. Shh.
I got kicked out that league.
Kicked out. He just shut you down.
I got kicked out. It don't matter.
All right, we'll be right back.
No one pulls up like we do. No one does us like we do. Always go hard with this crew. Welcome to the show, let's make moves. Nothing's gonna stop us, it's not to get rough. Turn the whole room up, it's never enough. Let's go, 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 let's go.
Taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
So, this round of releases.
It's crazy, man.
It's crazy. But I gotta say, out of this round, there's only... I'm trying to confirm this. I'm trying to pull up the list. And There's only 3 that really shocked me. Well, 4. And really only one truly did I feel like, oh yeah. John Morrison. That was the one. Like, I get why, but God, motherfuckers.
He's
so
really
fucking talented.
He just
give him a break.
He just really came back. What?
A year ago? Like, they put him with The Miz, and then, like, yes, The Miz is in the top of WWE, but not for his wrestling. He's at the top because he's doing Miz and Mrs. and Dancing with the Stars and, like,
other stuff.
Yes. And so he just got relegated. I'm sorry, I think my daughter just woke up.
Uh-oh.
And I think her mom just walked in as she did. So he just got relegated to that comedy act. They never caught him a break. And then you can't tell me that some of that's not because of Taya's comments, but when she got released.
Right.
And she's made some more sense. Woo!
Oh, Lord.
But the list goes as John Morrison, Isaiah, Swerve Scott, Top Dollar, Ashante, 3 Adonis. So this one,
you know you love Top Dollar. Don't even lie. You know you love Top Dollar.
I don't know a lot about them. I didn't see them because I don't watch NXT, so I didn't see Hit Row. But I heard a lot about them, and they seem very talented. And again, I think this is another one that WWE, just Vince McMahon is a dumbass. Like, he just doesn't know what to do with this new crop of talent. And, man, somebody throw Drake fucking Maverick a bone.
Yeah.
Somebody give this man a contract.
Yeah, I was sort of kind of shocked by that.
Like, he worked so hard to come back when they released him last time. He was the only one that made a comeback really last year after the release.
Yep.
And they made a fucking storyline out of it. And then they just don't do shit with them.
Nothing, man.
Every time they release more, I feel like I'm vindicated more and more in saying they're about to sell this motherfucking company.
Oh yeah, because he's cutting weight either by the fact he doesn't think guys are going to be profitable, or he's getting rid of weight in terms of contract and financials. So yeah, it's all set up for a sale.
You know what screwed Morrison? I'm reading is Miz took time off. They started feuding in August, but Miz took time off for Dancing with the Stars. That's what screwed him.
Right.
Yeah, but then again, like, okay, so I saw your article about your girl, Kira Hogan, and do you feel like she's actually, because from what I've seen, she is getting matches on Dark and Elevation. She says she's getting lost in the shuffle, but what I see is she's doing what every not big name has had to do in AEW, and that's building a record.
Well, I just think that in her defense, somewhat, it's not like she didn't come in with talent. Well, in her defense, it's not like she didn't come into AEW without talent or a brand name. She kicked butt over an Impact pretty well, and I do kind of see where she's coming from as far as being lost in the shuffle, because you got so many good women on that roster over there. It's sort of kind of hard to stand out if you look at it. Thunder Rosa is very, very good. She can easily be your champion. Britt Baker is just incredible.
There's a lot.
Rose is incredible. There's a lot on that roster.
There is a lot on the women's roster, but you also got to remember too. Right now, they're finally building a good women's division.
But I was about to say this. To sort of kind of back up AEW a little bit. Yeah, you got a lot you got to deal with. You got a lot on that roster you have to work through, but you also have to put a lot of work on yourself. You have to make yourself stand out. You have to make yourself be different, and you have to be able to show your wear and show you're different from the pack in order for AEW to really sign you and give you that long-term contract that you want. And right now, I don't think her frame of mind is that. I love Kira. She's a sweet person. I've interviewed her twice. She was a guest on my show once, but I just think that she's looking at it wrong. You have to be able to differentiate yourself from other people on that roster. You have to show why you're better than a Thunder Rosa. You have to show why you're better than a Britt Baker, and that's on you. There's no team in pro wrestling. Yeah, tag teams and whatnot, but in your case, there's no team. It's you. So you have to be able to differentiate yourself from the rest of that roster. And I don't think she's doing that right now.
And eventually, AEW is going to have to unveil a women's tag team.
Yeah.
And I think that'll happen next year. But for the time being,
I've never been a professional wrestler. I will say that. I've never been a professional athlete. But in my opinion, you need to conduct yourself as if you're already a champion. You come to work, you don't speak out, you do the things you have to do. You go in there, you work, put a smile on your face no matter what's said. You don't read the dirt sheets. You go in there with a good attitude, you train, and you get ready for the next match. If you do those things, I think eventually success will come your way. And her speaking out saying she lost in the shuffle isn't a good look. I don't want AEW to do her wrong, don't get me wrong, because I love Kiera, but at the same point, a lot of it's on you. You have to make yourself stand out.
Exactly. I agree. And that was what I kind of read. But and
Can't
I think
blame.
you got to remember, AEW is all about building talent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to give it time. You haven't been there that long.
Yeah. I mean, we're looking at what, August, September?
Mm-hmm.
You ain't even been there 6 months yet.
Exactly.
Give yourself time, man. I would not want that pressure built on me. I got enough by having to come out to the ring and showing my wares every day on national TV, where every time I get in the ring, I would have to do that. That's enough pressure in itself. Just let me deal with that. As far as me getting over, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it will.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find either, and that was my thing is, God, bring in the girl you were tagging with at Impact, and y'all would be dominant.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But that's really all I had to discuss tonight, man.
But I was sort of kind of upset. Tegan Knox ended up getting released.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Tegan. Again, the rest of them, I'm just not like.
You're just not.
You're not. Shane Thorne, Jackson Rocker. I'm not even sure who they are.
You're not emotionally invested in them.
Yeah.
Like Shane Thorne. I mean, I know him, but
and there was no one really on this list that I was just like, oh, what?
Yeah.
I mean, no one was doing anything, or you could tell they were being shut down.
Right. I just think the thing with man, I like Tegan from a personal level, but I get it because again, she didn't do anything to make herself stand out, and that's what you have to do.
But all right, buddy. Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and get out of here, guys. Thank y'all for joining us. Y'all have a great week, and we will see y'all probably in 2 weeks. I'm liking doing the 2-week thing.
It gives time for news and everything to build up and give us something to talk about within that cycle. So yeah, most definitely.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great week. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
Take care, guys. Later.